Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Are we living in crazy times or what?
That's an understatement.
What is going on lately?
In what regard?
Well, just all the crazy tech stuff.
Tech stuff.
Well, okay.
I know I've been getting an heavenly number of spam calls lately.
Yes, that's been going on. You have, maybe a virus going on your phone.
Something.
We've talked
because it's
years.
glitchy.
We've talked for years about the potential for 3D printed guns.
Oh, yeah.
And now there's a high profile case with the CEO of
United Health.
Thank you. That was gunned down by a 3D printed gun.
And silencer.
Yes.
Okay, I knew about the 3D printed guns. I did not know that there were 3D printed silencers.
Of course. Why wouldn't there be? And then, of course, we have drones over Jersey.
Yeah, see, now that one's...
We have congressional hearings going on about UFOs or whatever they're calling it now. We have AI that is just like going nuts. We have...
Maybe AI is doing it all.
We have a supercomputer that was just unleashed a couple days ago that we're going to be talking about.
The Whopper?
That is... This is insane. I need to look up the numbers, but in 5 minutes, so it compared itself to the fastest supercomputer in the world right now, which, of course, is crazy fast. It figured that the workload that it did in 5 minutes would take the fastest computer in the world 30 million years to complete. It did it in 5 minutes.
Sounds like Skynet to me.
And then we got robots.
Or is it the Matrix?
That are being unboxed by Tesla. And I'm seeing these Tesla robots dancing and playing guitar and decorating Christmas trees. And I'm just thinking to myself, what in the world is going on?
Okay, I have a question.
It seems insane.
Because you and I have talked about NASA and they're trying to ramp up for a mission to Mars.
Yes.
And all these different fuel scenarios and oxygen scenarios. And I'm like, won't they just send a robot?
Sure. Why not?
Why not?
Well, you have to understand that at the time when all this stuff was being developed, who would have dreamed that we'd be at the level that we are, that robots are emerging right now?
Overnight.
Yes. I mean, and the thing is that, of course, Elon has a significant advantage here because he owns both, SpaceX and Tesla. And Tesla is I don't know if they're the leader in humanoid robots, but they certainly are the most
humanoid.
Well, and they're out there. I mean, they're just out there. It's kind of like Tesla
functioning.
And Tesla and electric cars. I mean, everybody was kind of poo-pooing, this thing about electric cars with Tesla. And a lot of people still do, including you and I a lot of times. I'm not against the electric car. I just, the impact that it has. If you're an environmentalist, and I would actually consider myself an environmentalist. I think that there's a lot of things we can do in the world to make it better, but things like recycling that you think are making the world better are not. These are feel-good type of things.
They're a detriment.
And so is, for the most part, there are some things in recycling that make sense, right? But in
glass and metals and aluminum.
That's correct. Yeah. That's correct.
Aluminum is a metal.
But Tesla was a feel-good thing for the longest time. Even though it actually has a significant impact on the earth, the footprint that it leaves, it's probably greater for the most part than what a combustion engine
just like a solar panel and a wind turbine.
So it's all of that, and of course maybe economies of scale will change that or whatever, but maybe not so much. But regardless, I'm not going to get into the politics, all that stuff. But Elon obviously has if we're going to send robots to Mars to start with, I mean the air is toxic. The ground is toxic to humans. A lot of work we got to do on Mars before we can go there and habitat it. So
people should go there. You should just send a robot
and let them build a habitat. Let them clean a section of the ground
because they don't have to eat potatoes grown in their own feces.
That's correct.
Yes,
that's not possible, by the way.
Yes, it's good in theory though.
Yeah,
made for good plot
Good
good theater.
Good
It's
movie.
good theater.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just crazy right now. I feel like every time I turn around, there's just some. It's not just like the evolution of tech. It's like technology drank Gatorade and it's going insane. I don't know. I just feel like, what is going on?
It's like tech was at a party, drank too much tech, and then threw up tech all over us.
Don't you
It's kind
feel
of like that?
Don't you feel that way right now?
Yeah. Okay. So a lot to digest. No pun intended. Let's start with the drones.
Over Jersey?
Yeah. Because first thing I thought is because
Sounds like a great movie to me too. Drones
it
over Jersey.
does. It's like moons over.
So they are now starting to investigate them. There have been just countless reports of drones, and a lot of them,
And they're large
yes,
drones.
they're not these little baby ones.
No, they're
these are large military
commercial
of-
grade drones.
Yes. And you know,
And the government's not going, yeah, they're ours. Shut up. No, they're not doing that.
it is possible. I mean, I'm just throwing this out there. It's certainly possible that somebody brought a bunch of sky. Oh, I forget the flying or the flying car that I was in a couple times. The sky. I cannot remember the brand of it, but I've been up in
Sky
a couple.
car?
Something like that.
Okay.
Sky hang or
We'll go
hang,
with that.
hang something. Anyway, it's possible that it's those type of craft that are flying around at night, you know, where you can actually, they're basically flying cars, and they are in operation like in Dubai right now, in other parts of the world. So it wouldn't surprise
Speaking
me
of
if something
Dubai,
like that.
I got a phone call this week from somebody from Dubai that wanted to know if I wanted to invest into a real estate project.
In Dubai.
Yeah, in Dubai.
Why? Wow.
Yeah.
Why and wow.
Well, talking about spam calls and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like, why did I
You
answer
actually
that one?
answered that call.
I did. It didn't
Because
come up. It did not come up as spam.
Oh,
on my
I
phone.
see. I see. Interesting. Yeah, so they're investigating these drones right now. I guess I don't know a lot more about what's going on with this, except that there has been an investigation launched. And it's just because these things have been close to military and police stations and airports and that type of thing. I was watching footage of one yesterday. As a matter of fact, somebody had, and I can't say I believe everything on TikTok, but this seemed pretty real to me.
Remember when that city in Colorado had a bounty on them? If there's a drone over,
just shoot it
down and bring it into City Hall, and they'll give you a bounty.
How much was the bounty, by the way?
It wasn't very much, but I was like, oh, really? You get to shoot a drone out?
I have a 3D printed gun I could use for that.
Ooh, talk about that next.
Just saying.
Super Talk. Talk of the town on Super Talk 1270.
Well,
Jar,
I'm a little lighter.
jar. Yep.
A little lighter.
What'd you say at the end of the last? It's
been a while.
I almost cut you off before.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
There's a jar in the office. What does it say in the jar?
It says, just saying.
It's
and
a
it's
swear
a picture
jar.
of Marlo. It's a swear jar. Because that's your crutch phrase.
It was for the longest time.
Yeah. You were doing pretty good, but you just.
Maybe it just felt good to say it again.
Is that it?
But it just, the swear jar just got $10.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling a little lighter. I'd have put in less money, but that's the smallest bill I had on me. Hey,
Interesting.
have you noticed this lately too? Do you occasionally get money from an ATM?
No.
Okay.
Well, I take that back. Rarely, but I go to my bank to do it.
Because
So it's my bank's ATM. I don't go to a random ATM.
right,
and,
right, and pay the fee for it.
Yeah.
It is a ridiculous thing that you have to pay to get money out, right?
Yeah.
Of course, the casinos are the worst. They charge the most at a place that you lose your money anyway. I find that hilarious, but
Not me. I don't
not
gamble.
you. That's correct. Well, I might need cash when I'm in there, not for gambling.
Oh, for what?
Cigarettes and booze.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I knew you wouldn't believe
It's
me.
funny.
The cash ATMs. So I go to an ATM. This has happened to me the last couple times, and I'll get like $300 out at my bank too. I mean, $300 will last me a long time nowadays because, like, you use your card for everything. But I don't like going to the ATM a lot either. So I just get what I can, which is usually all the money I have in my account.
A lot of them are capped, though.
Yes, they are. And it spits out three $100 bills.
Really? Not a bunch of 20s?
No. So I get it. I mean, if the ATM is in high use, and the one I'm thinking in particular,
Well, you don't have to fill it as often then.
yes, because I'd gone to this one a couple times, especially over the weekend. And if I go on a Sunday, it's out of cash. So I'm guessing that they had just decided that enough is enough. We're going to put $100 bills in it instead of 20s, so it doesn't run out of cash. And it probably, if you asked for $340, it probably gave you three $100 bills and two 20s.
Well, the newer ones will ask what you want.
Yes.
It's like,
which is nice, right?
Just like going to your teller.
Right.
Do you want hundreds?
Yes.
Do you want 50s? Do you want 20s?
Yes. So what do you do with hundreds? I go to the coffee shop. I mean, I actually have to ask, can you make change for $100 for my $2.70 coffee? No, I can't. Because a lot of places,
They don't have a big bank anymore because they're digital.
Yeah.
They're using a card.
The amount of cash that we go through in our business is dramatically less than it used to be. I think if we count the till once a month, that would be a big deal because we have most days it would be zero.
So did your hundreds have any yellow marks on them?
I didn't notice. What's
Should
the yellow
look.
mark for?
Well, so most places 20s are okay, but 50s and 100s, they'll run the the highlighter,
They'll check
yellow,
them. Yeah.
make sure it's real.
Yeah, I guess I didn't
It's
know
like-
this.
They don't check 20s though.
Does that mark stay on there forever then when they do that? Or does it like an invisible ink?
I don't know.
So after a while you might have like 30 or 40.
I've gotten them from the bank occasionally.
And you've
lately
had 'em
that-
marked?
Yep. Hey, been through been around the block once or twice.
Will they check them again?
I don't know.
Like if you gave $100, if you went to a Walmart or a Target and you gave them $100 bill and they're obligated to check it and mark it, if it's already been marked, I wonder if they'd check it again.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Well, one would think
Well, a lot of places will have the little machine that they run it through. too.
Right. One would think that counterfeiters would figure that out right away and start checking them if they didn't do it every time.
Okay, so think of this from a counterfeiter's perspective because so if you go get a $100 bill from somewhere, change, and if it's fake, you eat that.
Yeah,
You don't get reimbursed for that.
that's correct.
What if you go to the bank and get a counterfeit? Do they go through? I mean, they must when they do the counter machine.
Yeah.
But they can't check everything that comes in and out real quick, can they?
I don't know. That's a good question
I don't know.
because it's the bank. Whoever uses it last and gets caught with it
Eats it.
eats it. That's correct. So
Well, that's why people try to pass it.
yeah. Well,
I didn't know.
yeah. All right. I don't know. Oh, we were going to go to the 3D printed firearms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we talked.
Did we finish drones?
Both drones are, I think so. I don't think there's a lot to report about, except that there's been people spotting these larger drones over over Jersey. I think,
I'm waiting for one of the mayors over there to go, folks, start bringing them down.
yeah, wasn't it Idaho too that was getting some reports on that?
Can't be. Because I know for a fact in Idaho, they just shoot them down.
Well, that's true. It's like here. I think
Few
isn't North
hillbillies
Dakota
there.
like in the United States? Aren't we like third from the top as far as reported UFO sightings as well?
We're up there.
We are up there.
We're up there.
I
My
think.
grandfather saw a few.
Really?
I've seen a couple.
Yeah. Did you
Buddy of mine.
dismiss them just as weather balloons or what?
Not the way they were moving. It's like,
Interesting.
it's not that windy
Yeah.
in every direction at once.
Yeah. You didn't think it was a dragonfly flying 3 feet
No.
above your head and reflecting light?
No. Well, so my grandfather was a railroad engineer, and he'd actually, on several occasions, had UFOs follow the train.
Were they large? Were they like?
Oh, yeah, large.
spheres?
And just like, doot, 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 back, forth, up, and then gone.
Most of these sightings that have been going on,
So it's not an airplane.
right? Most of
And,
these
and
sightings
helicopters don't
recently-
go that fast.
are these spheres, like the size of the table that we're on. Just these smaller, round globes.
Tiny aliens.
Tiny aliens. Well, they could be probes.
Yeah.
But they're just round. They're one just like a ball floating around the except they're metallic.
I remember one when I was little that he described as a saucer.
Okay.
And one he described as a sphere.
Okay.
But I've got another friend of mine that country roads driving from point A to point B in middle of the night, and then what's that? Why is it following me? Well, it wasn't speeding.
And you don't have to answer this, but I'm going to guess that you believe in that we are being visited.
How could you be so arrogant to think we're alone? Not alone.
I'm not asking that.
Okay.
I'm asking if you believe we're being visited by alien races.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it because of your personal, seeing UFOs in the sky or other things?
Yes.
The Talk lineup is on Super Talk 1270. Check out the program schedule at supertalk1270.com and on the free Super Talk 1270 app. Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
If you're just catching up with us, we have been all over the place because of all the unusual, weird things in tech, which of course led us to UFOs.
Yes.
So I asked Steve before the break if he believes that we have been visited by other species, other alien type things.
Yes.
And he said yes. And I said, is that due to the fact that you've had personal, like you've seen things in the sky or other things? And you said
yes.
So you did talk a little bit about the stuff you've seen in the sky. So I want to get to the other stuff though, but I want to wrap up the seeing things. Is it because your uncle saw things? Grandfather saw things.
And I've seen UFOs. I've got friends that have seen, there's just some things that are unexplained. And, usually if you can wait 10 or 15 years and go, okay, well, the military didn't come out with that yet. So what I saw back then must have been legit.
Right.
Because if it was, because a lot of people try to dismiss things, oh, well, the military's got something that's top secret.
Right.
Okay, but it's not going to be top secret forever.
And it wouldn't surprise me if some of this top secret stuff does get into the North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana airspace, because it's just so rural here.
Right.
That it's a great place to test some of these things. So that wouldn't surprise me a whole lot.
Yeah, when you're sitting in a combine at 2:00 in the morning, it's hard to explain some things you see sometimes.
And I will say, I mean, I've been driving down. I used to drive to Rapid City quite often. I would leave early in the morning and right at dawn or shortly thereafter, like south of Lemon, South Dakota. I better clarify that since I know a lot of people are not from around the area that listen to us. And all of a sudden, and you're like, oh my goodness, what was that? And then you look up in the sky and a bunch of jets just buzzed you, I mean, they were doing their things. And so, yeah, I mean, you have those experiences here and some of those probably can be explained away, but you're right. I mean, I've seen things in the sky too that I can't explain.
There's too much to completely explain all of it away.
Yep. So, all right. So let's just get away from what we see mostly in the night sky. I can say that I haven't seen anything personally in the daytime. Have you ever seen anything in the daytime?
Mm-hmm.
You have?
Yeah.
What have you seen in the day?
I've seen a saucer and I've seen a sphere. Not close, but off in the and it's like, that's not the biggest thing with something in the sky is, does it move like an aircraft?
Yep.
Okay. No. And this is before drones. So that's not the explanation, because from an optical perspective, a small drone at a distance could look like something entirely different.
Yeah.
And you can move a drone erratically, like things can move.
Oh, absolutely.
UFO.
Absolutely.
Aircraft don't move that way. Helicopters don't move that way. But this is before drones.
I remember this is probably 8 or 10 years ago. It was a cold winter night. I'm coming back from Fargo. It's like just no moon out or nothing.
Aliens like it cold.
They seem
I've noticed that.
Yeah. And probably about 10 miles out of Bismarck coming from the east, so past Steele and Sterling, like between Sterling and Bismarck, right?
Before the rest area.
And yes, before, yep. And I'm looking up in the sky and I'm like, what the heck is that? And it's like 3 lit objects in formation going across the sky. And before I know it, people are pulling off to the side of the road and getting out of their cars and looking and trying to take photos and whatever. I'm like, this is just weird. It's just not me seeing this, right? And then it recurs to me that they're the paper bag lanterns.
Oh.
Like from that we used to always launch on the 4th of July, and a lot of these festivals still launch these in the desert and stuff. It's exactly what they are. Somebody put them up, and they just looked like they were, because we were far enough away. All it looked like was these 3 kind of blobs of light, looking like they were flying in formation. It was a little breezy that evening, and they were moving at a pretty good clip. But because of the way the wind and whatever was moving them, they looked like they were in formation flying across the sky.
Thanks for starting a wildfire.
Yeah. And I'm just using that as like that had tricked. And I think a lot of people thought that it took me a while to understand what they were. And I didn't let it out to everybody else that was around. In fact, there was people that were even 5 miles down the road out of their cars looking and taking photos and all this other stuff. So, but I did realize, because I took my camera and zoomed in on it a little bit. I'm remembering what it was here. And at that time, I'm like, oh my goodness, these are these floating lanterns in the sky that look like unidentified flying objects going across, So anyway, so there are times when it doesn't take much to explain it. That's kind of what I'm getting at. But there are things that we see, right? So besides the things you see in the sky, why else do you think we've been visited by aliens?
Some of the ancient architecture.
Okay.
It's pretty crazy.
So you're thinking the pyramids?
Not necessarily. That's explainable, but some of the
Easter Island.
Yeah, the Stonehenge type things, the things that are massive in scale, or the math didn't exist to build something.
Have you been seeing what's going on with Easter Island? So, the faces, right, that are looking out.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of them that they have started to excavate, and they're finding very, very large. I mean, you think they're massive already. Just
not just a head.
It's not just a head. How did they get buried? All of it. I mean, it's just like, you think to yourself that even in today's world.
Can you imagine how big that Easter bunny was? Holy crap.
And that's
a big rabbit.
It takes forever to get to Easter Island, too. I mean, it's not like you can just easily get there from 2,000 or 500 years ago or 200 years ago.
Don't know anything about an indigenous population there.
There was a little bit of a population. I don't know if it was indigenous, so I think some people had somehow migrated there, but it's so far removed, and they feel like, or in fact, I should say they know that one time the island was totally forested and it was cut down to create trees. And before that, a lot of people lived in caves and things like that, because there are a lot of caves on the island. But and when I say a lot, I'm not talking millions, just a few thousand people. But it is interesting how these statues got there. Just, yeah. So I think a lot of people can say, or are starting to believe, that there was either some type of ancient civilization.
Somebody helped.
With some technology that we didn't know about, that was relevant at the time, or we've had a little help.
Or was it Atlantis?
There are people who speculate that we are prodigy of aliens.
Explains a lot.
Super Talk. Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
And welcome back to the UFO channel.
We need some weird bump music.
My name is Doofus, and I'm joined by my brother Doofus.
I was trying to remember the Eastern Island, the figures. There was a cartoon where they were alive and they would speak to each other.
Really?
Yeah, and I can't remember what it was.
That would be.
It was hilarious, though.
Yeah.
It was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Because the profound things they would say was
The reason we're talking about
funny.
this stuff, by the way, if you're just joining us, is that there's just been so many weird things going on in the world in the technology space. And I'm just kind of throwing it all together. Drones over Jersey, UFO hearings, AI going nuts, robots being unboxed, and people. I was watching one of the Tesla robots decorating a Christmas tree, which I think is a pretty practical thing.
Will they put up Christmas lights?
Yeah.
I'm getting one.
This is what this was doing. Was putting up
I have
Christmas
gotten
lights.
so much crap from my wife not putting up Christmas lights.
I'm just even like the tree the other night, Alice asked me to hang an ornament towards the top of the tree, and I'm trying to reach up to it, and the ornament's too heavy. And I'm like, because it keeps falling off the branch. And I'm like, why don't we have a robot that just decorates the tree? And then the very next scene is this robot with a string of lights wrapped around it with a guitar jamming out the Christmas tunes.
Okay.
Not really playing the guitar, just air guitar in it, but dancing and pretending like he's playing the guitar. I'm guessing that at some time the robot will be able to play the guitar if he wanted to.
What was the robot's name?
Unbelievable.
Cousin Eddie?
Cousin Eddie. That's funny. That is funny.
My robot cousin Eddie.
So it's just unbelievable what's going on right now. Then, of course, the 3D printed gun that took out the CEO of U.S.
Okay,
Healthcare.
yeah, that's serious. That's you and I have had conversations about 3D stuff,
Well-
and that this has come up in the past too. But and that's called a ghost gun
Yes.
because it's not traceable. It wasn't manufactured. It was made on a 3D printer.
And this is the thing that we used to talk about. And I don't know, this might predate you on this show a little bit, but like Jim Walsh and Dean Mastel, like 10 years ago, we would talk about when 3D printers were starting to become pretty readily available. And we talked a lot about the cost of printing a 3D gun, a ghost gun. And at that time, the type of material that you need to print with, the printers cost probably in that $5 to $50 million range. Okay. So you and I getting one of these printers and printing guns was not realistic. However, if you're a cartel and $50 million means nothing to protecting your investment in running drugs, that's a whole nother scenario, right? You can print guns and again, you just don't push a button and they miraculously just are there. I mean, it takes time. You might have to assemble them in parts. I mean, there has to be some know-how here that goes on with this. But that cost of entry, that barrier to the cost of entry of printing these has come down so much. It's just unbelievable.
Well, you can equate it to the cost of what a big flat screen TV was.
Yeah, I
those
it's like,
used to be really expensive. Now I think I bought some 42-inch ones for computer monitors. They were smart TVs, Roku TVs, $99 a piece.
use them for computer monitors.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you've lost anything because it's a television as opposed to
No.
you think the resolution is about the same?
Yeah.
I was playing with that last night, as a matter of fact, at home. I have a
Well, and a lot of them will have a setting in there to be used as a monitor.
yes, it says PC monitor right
Yep.
on the thing.
Right there.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
And 42-inch monitors are really nice when you... My arms aren't quite that long. I can't see anymore. Yeah, okay.
I have to admit, I am.
Bigger monitors are good.
Yeah. I don't think they make curved televisions. You don't see them readily available in the monitor space, so they make them curved. I do like my curved monitors for working on, though.
Why are those better? Because I know a few people that have them, and I haven't sat down behind
I have one in
but-
my office. I would
Yeah.
prefer to have one in front of us right now, too. It's just, the all-in-one units just don't seem to come as curved monitors yet.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody's doing one. I don't know. I feel like the distortion to the sides isn't as great. They're just easier to look at because they kind of wrap around you a little bit. Some of those now, I mean, my goodness, they're like 3.5 feet. Have you seen these gaming ones? They're like 3.5 feet wide. They're ultra
huge.
thin. I mean, they're only, it's like ultra widescreen, right? It's still about the same height as what you're used to with the monitor, but they go 3.5 feet around and they curve.
Well, that's the mindset behind IMAX.
Yes, that's correct.
It's a curved monitor. Or now the Sphere.
Yeah.
I mean, you're immersed.
Yeah, it's really what it's about. So, I don't know how we got to that point. Oh, you buying your TVs and making them
monitors.
Back to the 3D printing of guns.
Is that what we were talking about?
Have you been drinking coffee today?
No, I have not.
How come
I did have a Monster coffee this morning.
Why are we bouncing like this today?
I don't know.
It just seems like we're all over the place.
There's a lot to talk about.
Maybe that's why we're...
And you and I don't have a list.
Well, I have a list right here. Just a list of things to talk about, but not really prepped on anything except what we have in our own minds, which is usually scary in itself.
Yeah, that leaves a lot to...
Well, yeah, I mean, the ability to print 3D or to print guns and other weapons nowadays is greatly reduced. I mean, I know you're in here or in the shop quite a bit, and we have 3D printers. I mean, I have one running almost all the time. I think the office is tired of me printing birdhouses. If anybody out there needs a birdhouse, by the way, I'm happy to print you one. I love printing birdhouses. They take about 2 days.
They turn out pretty nice too.
I have some that look like castles. That's probably the most popular one. Then your birds are like royalty in your backyard, right? You've treated them well. You have this castle that they're living in. The neighbors are jealous.
You're creating a bourgeois class for birds.
Bourgeois. Because nothing says boo.
Marlowe's got the snobby birds in his backyard.
Snobby. They're just snobby. They live in there. My goodness, he's buying cracked corn for them birds. I can see it already.
Elitists.
Yeah. It's like caviar.
Well, I still want the Marlowe, Spidey Marlowe.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, got to print one of those.
Yeah.
Actually, what's really cool on the 3D printed stuff is, have you seen the dragons? I think you did.
Oh, yeah. We've done plenty of those.
They're all interconnected without having to connect them.
Isn't that crazy that it can be printed that way? And they're in movable parts when they come off the printer. Just amazing.
Talk of the Town. Weekday mornings starting at 9 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app.
Now you can listen 1270 on Alexa.
Hiya.
Find out how at supertalk1270.com.
Goodbye.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
So somehow or another, we're still going to stay on 3D printed guns because we haven't quite finished the conversation yet.
Okay, so the killing of the United Health CEO, and we all saw the video, and they showed the video. The guy is standing behind him, gun pointed, and as close as that camera was, I wouldn't have known it was a 3D printed gun until they came out with that later and said it was a 3D printed gun.
Yeah.
Now, he couldn't get through an airport with that because he did not have 3D printed ammunition, which
that's correct.
You can actually do.
Yeah, it's a little more challenging, though, I would imagine.
But it's the medium, and it is challenging.
Yeah, I mean, way more challenging. But you can make your own ammunition. You have been able to do that for years already. I mean, you have your own reloaders and all that other stuff to do that with, right? I mean, you can buy the casings, you can load your own and make them. So, I would imagine that. Well, I don't know how a 3D printer or a 3D printed bullet would really hold up.
Depends on the medium.
Well, that's true. I mean, if you have a metal 3D printer, that you can do
or
aluminum,
carbon fiber
or carbon fiber, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, anything that's traveling at somebody at 500 miles an hour is going to do damage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't have to be metal.
Now, the question is, and this has come up over and over and over about ghost guns, and what makes it a ghost gun isn't the fact it was 3D printed. It was just any gun that's manufactured. There's no serial number to it. It's not manufactured. It's a bunch of components that somebody puts together. Where those components come from, that's up to subjectiveness.
Right.
But it's about not having a registered firearm, so there's no serial number with that.
Yep.
And I'll make the argument that a ghost gun is one that's had the serial number filed off as well.
Sure.
But there is a record of that if they can find what the serial number was. But I'm wondering if there's going to be more of an onus put on, well, we need to clamp down on what you can make with a 3D printer. We need to put some constraints into that because government tends to be knee-jerk.
So I wouldn't disagree with that. I think it's probably illegal now.
Oh, ghost guns are.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's already that, but does that stop somebody
Because remember,
from making a gun?
Part of this started back when somebody brought a ceramic gun onto a plane. That's where it was ceramics originally.
Right.
And now it's just progressed up to, okay, well, I can make a gun with a 3D printer. Or you can make all the components, put it together, boom, done.
Right. I don't know how you can outlaw it.
It's already illegal.
Right. It's already illegal. I suppose you can figure out a way to track the parts or whatever. But I think about when
But the government likes overreach.
They'll figure it out.
They'll figure out
a way
overreach.
to do something, right? Like, if you print a gun, you got to register it. Okay. I'm already printing it illegally. So why do you want me to register it now? Or maybe they make it legal and you got to register them. I don't know. The
criminals will not register them.
Of course they won't. I mean, it's like with drones.
Law-abiding citizens would register them.
Drones were supposed to register now. By the way, just so you know, I didn't register my drones right away because this is like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Government law, they passed a law, federal government, in July 1st that everybody by December 1st has to have their drone registered. They don't even have the site started yet on July 1st. They have to put it together by December 1st. I hop on the site to register it. They ask for my name and my social security number. And I'm like, what does my social security number have to do with me registering my drone? And then on top of it, I'm like, there's no way that this is secure. There's no way this website's secure. Month and a half later, report comes out that the drone registration website has been hacked, and everybody who registered has now, lost their social security number. 1.5 million people. And I'm like, so this is the knee-jerk reaction to things that are not well thought out. And I'm only bringing that up because there is going to be a knee-jerk, and we're going to have to. I think we have to do our due diligence on how whatever that thing is that they come up with.
Whatever that may be.
Because
whatever form of overreach that will be.
Because, I forget what the drone incident was that pushed the drone registration forward. But instead of just impacting a couple people, right, that whole thing now, that whole drone incident, because they forced registration of drones, that then the website was hacked, now impacted 1.5 million people.
Okay, wasn't that because they were flying too close to airports?
Probably.
Which was already illegal. You weren't supposed to do in the first place.
That's correct, and that has not stopped.
So then, hey, let's go overreach and not fix the problem.
And the people who buy the drones that want to do nefarious things with them anyway are not registering them.
No.
There's no registration process at the store when you buy a drone. So unless that changes, then it's still just up to you to abide by the law.
Which you and I would do, but somebody who's maybe flying over New Jersey.
That's right.
They're not abiding by the law.
Drones over Jersey.
Drones over that would be a good movie. It's like Escanaba in the Moonlight.
Well, I've always talked about drones in space, of course, and that's the Starlink satellites that Musk is putting up so that we can have our Wi-Fi or internet everywhere. Boy, the rumors are out right now about a Tesla phone, by the way. Oh,
really?
My goodness. They are just rampant right now. Speaking of technology stuff, supposed price $299. So no more $1,000, $1,500 phones, and they will work off of Elon Musk's Starlink.
So you and I were talking before the show today, and because I think there's something going on with my phone, and
Yep.
the videos are a little glitchy, and I got to get it deep scanned. But have you noticed that Verizon changed their logo? See the V now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like a check mark.
What does it look like?
Looks like a check mark.
Oh, no. Remember the Kingsman?
Like the movie The Kingsman?
Valentine and his free phones?
Haven't watched it.
Really? You didn't see that? Oh, you got to watch that.
I'm a spy movie person. Too.
Yeah, you got to watch that.
So there's like 3 or 4.
Samuel L. Jackson was the bad guy, and it was
in The Kingman?
mind control through these free cell phone, and this cell phone network that he set up could control the population of everybody's brains. Yeah, you need to watch that.
I'm going to watch that now.
The Kingsman.
There's like 3 or 4 of them now.
The second one was good. There's 2.
There's 2.
Well, actually,
wasn't there like
a third?
Wasn't there like a pre? Like
I think there was now.
There's like 3 of them. So
I don't know.
Sounds like a good snow
Don't
day.
go to movie theaters anymore, so it's hard to keep up on movies.
Yep. All right, we're gonna leave the 3D printed gun thing now.
Super Talk.
Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
All right, you want to talk more about drones?
A little bit, because I've watched more and more and more in the news all this week.
Yeah.
And the media's like, oh, it's a mystery. No, people don't know what's going on. And the mayor and the governor over in New Jersey, and they're all like, what? And the government's a little hush about it. And it's like, well, yeah, we vetted it. Nothing's going on. You got a politician that came out and said, Iran, they nested a mothership. What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And remember, these are car-sized big drones. And the first thing that popped through my mind is probably the most logical solution. And what do you think of when you hear all this media hype with these drones? How do you fix it?
I would, other than maybe, well, I guess there might be people in them, so you don't want to use shotguns.
I don't care.
Okay.
They don't belong there.
Yeah.
You don't belong there, and it's a mystery, and nobody's ponying up. Shoot one damn down. Shoot one down. You want to stop it or find out where it, because there's this big mystery of we don't know where they're come from. Okay, great. I can find out real quick.
But
I'll shoot one down and go look at it. Oh, it came from there.
But it's not illegal to be flying drones in our space, as long as they're obeying.
Is it spying
by
on me?
You could.
This harkens back. Remember a long time. God, this must be 15 years ago, at least. Remember I told you I was driving through Colorado and I was listening to the radio and there was this news story I was listening to about this community in Colorado that put a bounty on them. And this was when drones were infancy. And if there's one over your property, shoot it down, bring it into City Hall. We'll pay you for it.
Here's your $50. Bring your
seriously.
coyote too, and we'll give you another $100 for that.
You get more for the coyote. Here's $50. It's like, yeah, but that's what they were doing because everybody in the community was upset about. Oh, well, they could fly over my fence and look in my backyard and this. And the city's response was, well, shoot the damn things down and bring it in. We'll pay you for it. I'm like, shoot one of these down. You'll figure out who it belongs to real quick.
But if they're not doing anything illegal,
you're bugging me.
Is that an illegal thing? You blow your horn when you drive by me.
You're invading my privacy.
Again, you drive by, you blow your horn on your car.
Okay, but you're invading my privacy. You're flying over my backyard.
That's not illegal.
Well, what if I'm burying the body? It is New Jersey. Just saying. It's New Jersey.
If they're staying within the 400-foot airspace that's been allowed, and they're not flying by airports or whatever. Now, when they start doing stuff
wait
like that,
a minute.
Now
the military, because there's a big military testing and development facility in New Jersey.
And I believe they've been within 5 miles of that. They would have
11
the
of them. They've had 11 incidences of flying over military installations over there as well. So I don't know. Here's the problem I've got. It's like, it's not a mystery. Shoot one down. You'll figure it out real quick.
Or net it. That'd be the other thing you could do.
My fishing net pole isn't that long.
They have drone nets.
I got an 8-foot net.
I guarantee you get over the top of one of these and you drop a net, and they have these weighted ones. I'm sure you've seen these, like even what they use in big fishing type of scenarios.
Oh, yeah.
You drop a net over them and they just come right down. Yep. You don't have to shoot it.
That's
down.
a lot of work, though. I could just shoot one down. It's easy.
With what?
Really? I have a lot of options to shoot one down, Marlo.
I mean, these aren't small. Like you said, these aren't small craft. I mean,
I don't have small guns.
Wow.
Here, my problem with it is it's like
stop giving
all this
people ideas.
All this media hype, and people are fearful of them. It's like shoot one down, you figure it out.
So are they?
There's no mystery.
Are they seeing them on radar or not?
I have not heard a report about seeing them on radar, which means they would be down below the radar limits. Because that's kind of the crossover point with the FAA is they didn't want to be interfering with the radar. That's why there's the ceiling for them, the low ceiling.
And there's
unless they're military.
I mean, what are we going to have like drone trappers now? I mean, like you hire somebody to trap all the coyotes out of a community because there's too many coyotes running around.
It's kind of like it's kind of like the snake guys down in Florida.
Yeah. Let's call them up. This could be a TV
swamp drone.
This could be a whole new TV series right here. You know, it'd be like
brought to you by Marlowe Enterprises. All right,
chasing
because you need another film.
Chasing Sasquatch.
I'm in on that one. By the way,
do you hear that? Oh, that must be a drone.
Must be a drone.
Oh, I can hear it.
Is it a good drone or a bad drone?
Turn all the lights off. Oh yeah.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is they're flying without the lights, and that is illegal.
That is illegal.
They're not supposed to do that, but they're flying in, so they're running them in stealth mode. So I'm sure by this point everybody's seen on the news the little lights and all the footage that everybody's been recording every night for a couple weeks. But when you're looking at those, there's a bunch more that you're not seeing because they're flying in stealth mode. That's illegal.
It's going to be some 13-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
Telling you right now.
Really? But did a 13-year-old afford a drone the size of a car? It's a little spendy.
Well, you got to paper out, right?
Oh, jeez. Really?
You think that I have seen people build drones out of like lawnmower engines and everything else and stand on these things. They build these platforms that they stand and jet around on.
Because again, UAV, it's a platform.
It's a platform.
It's just a platform.
So there's all kinds of ways to create drones, and I don't know.
Is my RC little helicopter that was on the string when I was little that you could fly around the living room, would that be considered a drone?
I suppose.
Tethered drone, right?
Yeah, tethered, yeah. I love that you use that word tethered. That's great.
I know that's your favorite.
It is my favorite word. Yeah. Yeah.
Tethered.
I prefer untethered though.
Well, okay.
Just in my own personal life.
Unless it's the tether to space, but
I don't know. I mean, I know we're being a little radical here with this. There are options.
I'm just cracked up because of the media hype and because it's built. It's build up, and it's turning into this big media thing, and people are afraid. I'm like, figure it out, shoot one down. Who cares?
Or net it, like you said, or whatever.
Well, okay. I mean, you go the kinder, gentler way.
I do, because I'm only going that way because I think that it's being blown way out of proportion. I mean, I don't know for sure.
That's my point. The whole thing is being blown way out of proportion.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. I mean, I think it'd be good to catch one. But the thing is that, what are you going to do? Amass like 50 helicopters to be on the ready?
Well, that's just it.
Because they can pop up anywhere.
Plus, if they're flying them in stealth mode, that's dangerous for the helicopter pilots.
So there's all kinds of scenarios here that aren't.
I have another theory.
Yeah.
What if it's AI flying their own drones?
Oh, let's not even go there, but we'll be talking about AI in a little bit. That's for sure. Wow.
Yeah. The talk of the town on Super Talk 1270.
So I asked ChatGPT, what is it with drones over New Jersey? And it actually came back since mid-November 2024. Residents across northern and central New Jersey have reported numerous sightings of mystery drones during nighttime hours. So that's the other thing, right? They are just flying them at night.
Uh-huh.
I suppose because they want to be stealthy, right?
Peeping in bedroom windows.
So you say that, but I always tell people, because people who are always like, well, my neighbor's been flying this drone over and trying to look in our windows. I'm not concerned about the ones that you can see.
Right.
The cameras on these things, they're 4K cameras for the most part, right? The one that I'm concerned about is the one you can't see that's parked 2.5 miles away from you. Those are the ones that can see into your windows and you have no idea that's going on. So stop all this already about, if your neighbor's flying a drone over your property, they're just doing it to annoy you. That's all there is to it. It isn't about that they're trying to look at something, because they can be 2 miles away and looking at whatever on your property or what have you. So just keep that in mind when the next time you hear a drone that's zipping around you or whatever. And I will tell you,
And if you step back at this point and you have to think, we really should, no matter where you are or what you're doing, and it could be hiking in the middle of the mountains in the middle of nowhere, you should probably assume that somebody, if not, could be watching you.
I think yes.
That's our society now. You have to have, doesn't make it right, but you have to work under that assumption. And that's the funny thing with criminals. They don't get it.
Well, and the thing is that it is kind of funny, right? Because there are just cameras everywhere now. Even in a mountain scenario, right? Because there are so many outdoor enthusiasts, whether you're a hunter or not, that put cameras in the middle of nowhere so they can watch when, because they're
a game cam to see nature.
That's right. That's exactly right. There's something about, and I enjoy it too. I love watching like a mountain lion come by one of these cameras at night. And
you're the bird cam guy, aren't you?
I am. I like those type of things.
Look, the eagle's hatching.
I wouldn't mind there's a couple of bird houses now that you can buy that have a camera inside there so you can watch the thing the whole time. So, all right.
Birdie voyeur vision.
ChatGPT. I ask it, what are your theories about the drones over New Jersey? So first one is government or military testing. The drone's advanced capabilities like longer flight times, larger size, and hovering over critical infrastructure align with military or government operations. And they are larger and they last longer. So
who's government?
Well, we'll get to that in a second. But it has to be, if it's a hobbyist, it has to be a serious hobbyist, because my drones at the most will run maybe 20 to 30 minutes before the battery runs out and they have to come back.
Okay, what's the price point on something that 20 minutes? And it's about the size of a small, like, computer monitor here, right?
Yeah, so I have a couple drones like that.
Yeah.
$1,000.
Okay.
Yeah. And the thing that you have to understand,
which exponentially goes up as you get larger and longer flight time.
Well, that is true. The thing that is interesting, though, I don't know if you've seen some of these people.
I'm caught up on the term hobbyist that you use. That's an expensive hobby.
Well, it depends. But there are a million people that have drones in this country.
Size of a car?
No. But this is the point I'm going to get at. Is like Halloween, for example. People dress up drones to look like ghosts and things like that, and they have them lit up. So you could make your small drone look significantly larger, because they will carry a little bit of a payload, especially if it's light. I mean, if you did something with plastic or something like that, put some LED lights on it. I mean, you could really make your small drone look much larger. I mean, I've watched these videos of they'll have like a ghost, and people will come off the subway and they look to the right, and all of a sudden here's this ghost coming at them, and these people just start bolting because they have no idea what's coming at them. Maybe it's kind of a practical joke type of scenario, right? But I'm using that as an example these may not be as big as you think they are, because they might be just made up to look bigger than they are. If that makes sense.
One down, we'd find out.
We'd find out, right? Private or corporate surveillance is number 2. Large companies with infrastructure interests, utilities, telecom, or energy sectors sometimes use drones for inspections. These drones might be part of an unannounced program to monitor power lines, water reservoirs, or other infrastructure, though the lack of disclosure is unusual. So,
see, that's the part that plays into the media hype is nobody's saying, oh, it's not like PGE or whatever electric company out in the New Jersey is like going, yeah, we're checking lines and we're running infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, no big deal.
And we got to do it at night because of this particular
because the
atmospheric
infrared
thing or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Less traffic, whatever it would be, right? 3 is foreign intelligence operations. There's a small chance that the drones are part of a foreign reconnaissance effort probing U.S. infrastructure. Countries like China or Russia may have been known to deploy advanced drones for surveillance purposes.
I did laugh when I heard the politician say the Iranian mothership.
Yes.
Was nested.
And the pattern of hovering near military bases raises concerns about espionage. So that's 3. 4 is hobbyist or commercial misuse. While less likely due to the drone's sophistication, it's possible advanced drone hobbyists are testing limits. New drone technology such as swarm capabilities could enable individuals or private groups to operate multiple drones simultaneously. And we talked about this earlier in the show today about, when you have technology that you can put 3,000 drones in the sky to spell IBM, the ability for you to run 3 or 6 drones by one person or a small group of people, very, very easy nowadays because you're able to make these swarms do a lot of things. So that's interesting. Private security firms often use drones to patrol large areas at night. So that's interesting. But again, nobody's come forward with anything.
Nobody's come forward.
And I would think that if it was a security for something going on, it could be something, if there's an event coming up or something, that they're just surveilling an area to make sure that it's secure. But they are like all over the place, right? I mean, they're not just being sighted in one particular area, except for around the military base.
Right.
So that's interesting. Corporate or academic research, I think we can just rule that out.
Yeah.
Right?
Somebody would say it's us. We're testing stuff.
And then, so I'm not used to this yet. Unidentified aerial phenomena.
UFO.
That's the new term for UFO, right? Although unlikely, some speculation that these are not drones at all, but something unidentified.
Well, they technically are unidentified.
Yes.
We don't know who they are, what they are, who's putting them up.
And my guess, this is ChatGPT's best guess. The most plausible explanation is government or military related testing. That's ChatGPT's best guess.
But the government said it's not us.
So that's your AI for you.
1270.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
All right, finally, AI. Since AI gave us the plausible reason as to why we have drones over Jersey.
So I still think it might just be AI flying the drones.
I still think that'd be a great TV show. I think we need to find these people who hunt crocodiles or after Sasquatch or ghost hunters. Ghost hunters would be fantastic. The people for Curse of Oak Island.
Oh, gosh, they'd do a great job.
They've got, 18 seasons of that now?
Yeah.
So they could do another 20 seasons on the drones over
and
Jersey.
Now they've flipped over, so it's not just the Curse of Oak Island anymore. It's the story behind, or what is it called? The myth of Oak Island.
Oh, interesting.
They've got
They ran out of...
They got another show they're running now.
I see.
Which is going back and...
Because they've now dug up the entire island and they can't create anymore. Interesting. I think I watched that for like a half an episode and I'm like, can you please just get on with this already?
Yeah.
So you found a piece of wood that's 180 years old. I can also go find a piece of wood that's 180 years old.
We got dinosaurs older than that all over North Dakota.
Well, we do.
Yeah.
We should have shows on that.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
I think Drones Over Jersey, though, would be a great...
Over Jersey.
It's got a ring to it, right?
You could bring back the cast of Jersey Shore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now that would be great. Somebody from the cast is listening to us right now going, yes, yes.
My next 15 minutes of fame.
Drones Over Jersey. Stay tuned.
Drones Over Jersey Shore.
Who should carry that? I mean, would it be like a Netflix or an Amazon exclusive?
Oh, it's got to be MTV Network.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The people who bring us Yellowstone.
It's kind of a cross between drone hunting, Jersey Shore, and the Housewives of New Jersey.
And you could have the person who's got the modified shotgun that's ready for anything. And then you got that'd be you. And then I'd be the guy carrying the fishnet saying,
who are you going to call?
I'm just going to.
Drone Busters. I'm going to write the song.
Where's Aykroyd?
No, let's get Weird Al to write the song.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
See, we're onto something here.
We are.
If anybody's out there,
please.
another one of these great ideas we're giving away.
Next week we're going to hear that there's a new show coming out.
Drone Busters.
We've already been filming for 3 weeks, guys. Would you please be quiet about this? Yeah. All right. Big news in AI going on right now. In fact, there's so much news, it's almost impossible to keep up. So there are a lot of companies in the AI space, but the 3 big ones are Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google. Okay, so an OpenAI, I mean, big investment by Microsoft into that, and Elon Musk was involved there at one time. I guess you could throw X into there too, because Elon has his own AI going on too, and X was always, I know that X formerly Twitter, but he's been developing a cash system using crypto with X, and he's been developing AI called Groot, I think it is.
I am Groot.
It must be, I don't know. It starts with a G. I haven't used it yet. Everybody who's screaming at me right now, I'm sorry. I haven't used Elon's AI. I should do that. But I am a big user of the 3 that I
thought you were going to say you're a big fan of Guardians of the Galaxy.
I kind of like that show. Yeah, it's fun.
Great soundtrack.
So anyway, Anthropic, who has Claude. Claude is its AI. They're just on fire. Oh my goodness. I mean, the things that you can do with Claude right now, including the ability to code, is just unbelievable. And the thing you have to understand is that there are a lot of other things out there, like there's Cursor and Replica and all of these other AIs that are out there, but most of them are running from APIs from the 3 I just told you about. So their back end is Claude or ChatGPT, or
they're basically running like a subroutine.
Gemini. And they kind of build their own little prompts, and they just use these AIs. Like Google has, in Google Cloud Platform, for example, there's an AI in there, and you can just build whatever your idea is from that. And then all of a sudden you have a social media AI that'll do, for $99 a month, will do all of your social media, do use an AI. Well, it's not that you can already do that probably already with what the tools that you have readily available. Those systems do make it easier for you to do. So it's a matter of time management for you. But anyway, so the coding and everything else, so they have 3.5 that came out called Sonnet. Absolutely incredible. And then here comes ChatGPT, and they release 4.01, and it's just stunning, the difference from 4 to 4.01. So I gave 4, and if you're familiar, there's a bunch of different models in ChatGPT. Started with 3, that was what came out to the general public. They've had a 1 and a 2 before that, but 3 came out 2 years ago, almost 2 years to the day right now. Actually, it came out just right after Christmas in 2022, and it was fun. I mean, it was fun to play with and do these cutesy little things. But in 4, I gave it a sentence of scrambled words, and I said, what do you see here? What do you solve this? And it couldn't figure it out. In 4.01, it went boom, and you could see it like thinking and doing this and this and this and this. All of a sudden it goes, oh, it's scrambled words. Here's your sentence. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So it actually thinks and reasons.
That's actually easier to do because all you have to do is train it in sentence structure.
Well, but it didn't know what, and you could give it, I'm telling you right now, you can give it crazy puzzles and scientific things and whatever else, and it'll think and reason through these. My sample, my explanation here, I just did this at a very basic level. I mean, I've done things like, I think about of course you know about artificial photosynthesis. The difference between what I'm doing with 4 to 401 is astounding. It understands the things that, as opposed to just kind of saying, hey, I'm pulling this from this or this or this. And it was great to brainstorm with it now or before and come up with maybe ideas, but it was just basically getting information from other sources, right? It is now actually reasoning.
It's becoming self-aware.
It is becoming, so that's interesting you say that. So they've created things like in ChatGPT that you do this routine and then we want you to die. Just be done, right? 98% of the time it does that.
Were they talking to us?
Yeah. 98% of the time, the AI agent that was designed to do that just follows its direction. The other 2% of the time, it goes and hides. Tries to figure out how else it can stay alive. Isn't that interesting?
That's how Skynet started.
Yeah. It's just crazy. We'll get to more of AI after the break, everybody. This is
I'm not sure if I'm terrified or intrigued.
It's kind of both, isn't it?
Talk of the Town. Weekday mornings starting at 9 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app.